Introducing Eos Cortex, a purpose-built data analytics platform for the construction and engineering industries. Cortex has been designed with the flexibility to import data from any source, providing the agency to explore and become comfortable with data analysis through personalization to make the data and results your own. Cortex provides easy access to your project history through browsing and searching to analyze project information. Normalize project costs by time and location, then compare them confidently. Cortex has a dedicated budget builder for conceptual budgeting, modeling, and estimating. Create new budgets from historical data. Optimize the budget, including markups. And present through comparisons, charting, and reports. Cortex is secure. Users log in via role-based permissions using dedicated usernames and passwords, or a single sign-on security framework. Cortex's dashboard provides easy access to information about your projects. Recent projects and various graphics can be added to the dashboard, such as bar charts, maps, data trees, and time series trend charts. Click the project name to view the project on the single project page. A project information panel provides high-level information about the project. Cortex leverages advanced analytics to determine similar projects, not unlike how Netflix suggests similar movies, or how Spotify suggests similar songs. The Attributes tab provides a project summary and high-level information that can be configured to your organization's needs. KPI views are highly configured, supporting multiple fields, columns, and summarized data. Similar to attributes and elements, KPI views can store information specific to different project types. The Elements tab displays a spreadsheet of cost elements and detailed items. Charts provide further analysis through visualization. You can manage supporting data using folders to store project images, documents, and links to external systems. Cortex can store different information based on the type of project. For example, attributes and elements for a power plant are different than the office from our previous example. Typical workflows in Cortex assist you in the core capabilities of benchmarking, conceptual estimating, and trend analysis. This starts with finding the right data to work with. There are two primary ways to find information: searching based on keywords, and browsing a classification system or index of the data. Both methods result in a project collection. Working with a collection of projects, cost elements, or detailed line items is supported by shared or user-specific views. Statistics provide additional information about the data. Indicators can be turned on or off to identify outliers. Outliers can be adjusted by each user. Several chart types are available and respond to the data in the views. Avoiding comparing apples and oranges is supported by Cortex's ability to normalize and escalate your costs. These settings persist until you clear or change them. You can also set manual adjustments. Based on these settings, Cortex applies an overall factor to all project cost data. Values in bold indicate that they have been factored. A yellow banner appears on all pages informing you that the factors are applied. Use filters to isolate projects based on your requirements. Sort columns to isolate projects and identify similar ones using further cost studies. Save your work by creating a portfolio to preserve search, filter, and factor data so it can be shared or accessed again later. Save personal collections or share them. Portfolios are a powerful way to analyze project data. Prepare portfolio data by saving and naming collections as a portfolio. Portfolios can be dynamic. So when new projects that meet your search criteria are added to Cortex, they will be automatically added to those portfolios. Portfolios allow you to find and save comparable data for a new project coming up for use in budget development and presentations. Analyze trends in your history by sectors, construction systems, regions, and any other criteria. Develop new budgets from portfolios, and many other uses. Tabs provide general information and a listing of projects saved in the portfolio. Statistical information for all of the cost elements and attributes further complement the portfolios, supporting multiple use cases such as analyzing regional, project type, or other trends. Portfolios are useful to identify trends. For example, analyzing regional unit costs over time in a chart. In Cortex's comparison mode, you can further analyze projects. Comparisons can be viewed from portfolios, collections, and from similar projects. Use the map to confirm geographic locations. Tabs for attributes, KPIs, and elements let you explore project data in columns and charts. Indicators support further analysis. The Compare view is great for identifying differences in scope and potential risk. All views can be exported to a formatted Excel workbook for further analysis. Generate new budgets using Cortex's predictive analytics. Optimize the budget using Budget Builder's powerful tools. Finalize and present the budget, including comparisons to previous versions of the budget or alternative scenarios. The budget creation process is easy, flexible, and transparent. Use factor indexes and reference projects to predict costs and quantities from your history. Establish a target size to ensure the budget accurately reflects the requirements of the project. The Elements tab displays initially. It's populated with the choices you made when creating the new budget. The General tab stores the project size and other important information, including placing an image with the budget. In Budget Builder, you can manage budgets in the Folders pane. Toggle to display all budgets or only your budgets. We'll save a copy of your budget to preserve the initial draft and compare them later. Once a budget has been created from the reference projects, optimize the budget to reflect the requirements of the project. Quantity and cost columns are available for the budget, reference projects, and statistics for reference project analysis. Indicators help you understand where the new budget's value came from. Show or hide thumbnails to maximize the screen area. Quantities are populated from attributes or statistics from the reference projects. In this case, the overall budget total quantity is populated from the target size entered when the project was created. The budget amount is divided by this quantity to represent the overall budget unit cost. When quantities are populated from attributes, a link indicator shows where the value comes from. For example, the average from the attribute substructure concrete is used for a substructure. Like the previous examples, the quantity is populated from an attribute. However, unit costs are populated when creating the budget based on the choices made when creating the budget. For example, in A10 foundations, the unit costs come from the average unit cost of the reference projects. If a quantity is not linked to an attribute, it receives the average quantity from the reference projects. Because the overall project size is different than the average of the reference projects, Cortex scales quantities proportionally. Indicators always tell you how the information is generated. The Attributes tab contains the metadata associated with the budget, including quantity, cost, and other information. Add and change information as needed to reflect the project requirements. Like quantities and unit costs on the Elements tab, numeric and quantity attributes are populated based on the statistical choices made when creating the budget. Indicators tell us how the data was populated. Quantities linked to the elements have indicators and notes showing the relationships. Although the quantities use reference project averages to populate the budget initially, you can change them. The Elements tab reflects linked attribute quantities. The Elements grid supports row and column editing and calculations that extend the ability to build up budgets. Manually changing quantities, unit costs, and amounts updates your budget in real time. When you change linked quantities, Cortex will also update the linked attribute. Locking an element prevents other budget adjustments from affecting your changes. If the historical reference projects do not include scope required for the project, you can add new rows from your cost element library. Remember to lock rows you don't want adjusted. Sometimes using specific reference project costs or quantities is preferred to the statistical data when creating the budget initially. Cortex lets you select specific data points from the reference project to use in the budget. Notice that rough carpentry wasn't changed. But Cortex used it in the allocation of cost for the B shell summary level. Likewise, you can manually overwrite the unit costs and amounts at any level, and Cortex will calculate the changes throughout the budget accordingly. Certain elements of the reference projects used to create the initial budget may not reflect the scope needed for that budget. You can find and use any historical project's element cost to replace the budget's initial values. Options allow you to select the required element data. A change summary displays those changes after you accept them. Further analyze your budget using charts and maps. You can also export your budget to Microsoft Excel and add or remove reference projects. When creating a new budget, you can exclude markups and indirect costs from the reference projects to allow use of Budget Builder's Markups pane. The Markups pane displays a subtotal that equals the budget's direct costs. Pre-built templates define the markup costs using various calculation methods. By percent, unit cost, or a lump sum over the budget's total, current total, a previous subtotal, or the cumulative budget total. You can delete and create new markups on the fly. When you are satisfied with the build-up, you can finalize your budget by forcing a target price that's consistent with a conceptual unit price. Displaying a low and high range can be defined in settings as well as the budget price and unit price inclusive of allocated markups. Get the budget ready for presentation by adding images, attachments, and summary information. You can also use comparative analysis to evaluate differences between previous versions or other budgets.